Fortunately, the nice thing about being a psychologist is the amount of flexibility in the type of work that we can do, but then also the hours that we're working. So I was able to build my schedule around his work so we
Mhm.
could spend more time together. So when I came to Dallas, I had a small part-time private practice in Georgia as well as working at Georgia Tech, but I just went full-time into private practice when I came to Dallas. And that was probably the most significant learning curve I've ever experienced. It's so different when, if you're not working, you're not making money.
Yes.
And I think that went back to feeding into that strong Black woman mentality or that hustle culture of I need to always be working. I noticed my anxiety was so much higher than it had ever been in my life. And later, in reflection, it was because when I'm not working, I'm not making any money. I don't have this check that I just know is going to be the same every single month, no matter what I'm doing. So that type of instability really was unsettling for me, having found that security and stability. And then kind of losing that, yeah, really disrupted me for a
Mhm.
while. I saw myself and um, my mood.
Any advice you give somebody wanting to go into private practice? What are some things they should prepare? What should they think about mentally? I think you brought up a great idea. If you don't work, you don't eat. That is a thing when you work for, let's say, an hourly type practice. So, any advice that you would give people going out on their own?
I do appreciate that I did have that small private practice. So I wasn't like completely, oh, what do I do? Or lost at sea. And then I don't think, at least for counseling psychology programs, they don't do the best job in preparing people for private practice, like a CPT code, which is a billing code. I didn't learn about a CPT code until after I graduated. So I'm like, how have I never heard the billing codes for psychologists? That does not make sense to me. So having that small private practice was helpful, very useful. And I encourage people who are thinking about going full time into private practice, if they're able to do a practicum or internship or have some sort of experience at a private practice
Mhm.
is helpful. People are typically very kind and giving of information. So working at a private practice or having someone who can mentor you and consult you in private practice, there are some great private practice books out there to be able to get those books. And now this wasn't available when I was a student, but like the podcast on private practice, the Facebook groups on private practice, the trainings on running private practice, really taking full advantage of those things. Again, I feel very fortunate and blessed that even though I wasn't feeling so stable in my private practice, I had a spouse who has a very stable career. So I was able to take a lot of risk that I would not have taken if I did not have a spouse who was fiscally responsible and having insurance for us and able to cover a lot of those things. But yeah, really laying out like how much money do I need to make? How many clients do I need to see? What about insurance for myself, for my family, what to do regarding like that anxiety of when we're not working and we're not making money, having a plan in place for that, really building a strong network and support system as you are starting that practice or even before that practice is being started.